who would like to learn how to increase the number of referrals they get from every client every time? Hey, so-and-so, it was really great to work with you. Thank you for the opportunity to helping you with handling the sale of your home. Just want to isolate that just for a second. Notice the language even around the idea of selling a home for somebody, rather than saying, helping you sell your home, is helping you handle the sale of your home. And then secondly, I really appreciated the opportunity. And by the way, did you have a good experience? Okay, awesome. And you know what? I appreciate that. And you know what others have done is, as my clients have great experiences with me, it's pretty common that they'll refer to me 3 or 4 people each and every year. And so, by the way, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a home this year? And just ask them right then and there. And that way, you set the standard, which is, this is the normal number. So I think that's an important piece of the equation. This is a normal amount of people that got referred to me from my clients that have had a great experience like you, because then now at least there's a standard set. It's no different than if you get into real estate, someone says, hey, it's pretty common that the typical agent sells about 6 homes per year. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's the standard. Well, it's so different if you say, well, how about a world if agents were selling 6 homes a month? And that would be the standard that's set. So in this way, we're setting a standard for how many referrals we might expect from them, because they are a happy client. And we just explained that my happy clients, just like you, refer 3 or 4 people a year. Now, what we've done is we've without knowing it, we've set up the reticular activating system. So it's called the RAS. It's the part of our brain that filters and sorts out other information so that we can pay attention to only that which is deemed to be important or essential. But we've got to give them what's the important part. So that's the important part. And so we also talked about, William and I talked about, what's the reason why people like to give referrals or refer you to something? What's the reason behind that ultimately? Remember that, William?
Yeah, it was because they want their friends to have a good experience like they had.
Yeah. So what's the reason? We asked specifically why you would refer someone to, you go out of town, you go to I'll give you an example. Went to St. Louis with my family 4 summers ago, and we went to an awesome smokehouse, and it was amazing. Everything we touched was fantastic. The kids loved it, which is rare, and no complaints there. And we were just raving about it, like alligator hash. There's all these cool things from St. Louis that were infused in the food, and we loved it. And so I came back and I shared it with everybody I knew. And a friend of mine who was going to St. Louis about a month later, he said, hey, I know you're in St. Louis, Yoder. Where should we eat? I said, oh, you've got to go here. Okay. So he went, and then he was taking pictures from that. So this whole time I'm feeling responsible for his happiness. And so deep inside, I felt good. And so at the heart of the matter is, people refer us to restaurants, and you can apply this to anything, any experience, because ultimately you feel good. That's it. What else? That's it. You feel good because you know that you were a cause to the effect of their great experience. So there's a psychology behind it. And so it's no different, because then when they come back and they say, hey, how was your time there at the restaurant? It was amazing. Thank you so much. Okay. I feel good inside, period. So that's the reason why we do that. So it's no different. And you can use that analogy with your clients. And this is what William and I talked about yesterday. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it was so great to work with you. And by the way, why do you think people refer to restaurants? And you just walk them through that process. They feel good inside. So in this way, you had a great experience, right? Yeah, absolutely. Of course we did. And so what would be tragic is if you know of somebody that is going to buy or sell a home, and they bump into an agent at an open house who might be a brand new agent with 0 experience. And then they end up working with them because they might like them, they connect with them. At the same time, they're lacking those fundamental skills and experiences that are going to ultimately lead to that world-class experience that you had. And you do want your friends and family to have a world-class experience, don't you? Of course we do. Okay, great. Let's do the right thing. I'm going to connect with you in about a week. Okay. And then in such time, just start to think about the people that you know in your world, in church, at work, maybe any organizations you belong to. I know you belong to insert the organization that you know they belong to. And then when I kick in you the week, just share with me anybody that you come across that is going to be buying or selling a home in the next 6 months or so. Sound good? Or fair enough? There's a tie down there, right? So when it comes to the idea of handing the business card, instead of doing, and you can still do that, by the way, but just say, and if they say, hey, I ran into so-and-so and I think they're going to be selling their house. Great. Here's my card. Have them call me. That's one way that might get about a 20% response rate. But rather, hey, tell you what, then you go walk right into the restaurant referral conversation. Use that analogy. And I know that we've used a couple analogies recently that worked pretty well. And William told me about one yesterday. So use that analogy so they can connect the dots between these are pretty much the same thing here is hey, go ahead and what's his number? If you don't mind, with your permission, I'll give him a call just to make sure that I'm able to help them in the same way I helped you. Does that sound good? And then just get over any preconceived ideas you have about being that forthright, because I promise you it's a paradigm, which means it's the philosophy, the way that you're viewing it. If someone else is doing it effectively and they're getting 10 to 20 to 30 referrals a year by virtue of doing this, that is proof positive that it works. And it's just the individual's viewpoint that is skewing the ability to do that. It goes into the lifetime value of a client. And so if you want to take the single approach and say, hey, I'm going to work with Bob Jones and his family, and that's the only sale or transaction you get, you're really not thinking about this thing in its best way, which is it's not about selling Bob Jones's house, Bob and Sally Jones. It's about giving them a world-class experience, but also helping everybody that is in their world experience the same thing. So get to the place where you truly believe in yourself enough that you are providing the value, and then expand it. Who do you know? So it's not just one person, because there's a lifetime value of a client. They're going to repeat business with you, but they're also going to refer to you. Otherwise, if you think about it, real estate is just a hamster wheel business. Then you're constantly having to drive the hamster wheel forward because you're never getting referrals. And it's a daily grind for the rest of your life until you're 80 years old. And then you end up on one of those emails that comes out from the board of realtors that you've died, you had a lockbox in your right hand. No good, right? So the other thing it reminds me of as we round out today is that, we talk about a listing in the ground. That should be, if properly marketed, every listing should beget how many transactions? Three, right? Right. If they're going to sell, they might buy, and then 2 sign calls of that. So think about it kind of like that, is every client should beget you, 2 or 3 or multiples of people that they know in their life. They know people, they know hundreds of people, and when they think of real estate, they need to think of you. That's the primary objective here.